Welcome to PCWizKid's Tech Talk. Today we're looking at the ASUS ROG STRIX Z490 iGaming Micro ITX board. Now you can see here this beautiful case I reviewed earlier, the Cooler Master Masterbox NR200, along with the V650 SFX Gold power supply and the Master Liquid ML240 mirror. All of these are bundled in there. Why? Because we're putting together this SFX build. One of the stars of this show is the ROG STRIX Z490 iGaming board, of course. And it does have support for the ASUS Aura Sync, yes, for your RGB pleasure and configuration. In the box, you're going to have, obviously, the manual user guide. You're going to have some stickers so you can customize your system and the looks a little bit according to your liking. And, of course, the driver CD. Now, along with that, you've got your Sata cables, as you can see right there in that little bundle. And twist ties, as you would expect. The Wi-Fi 6 cables and tower there, you can see that you would set up your Wi-Fi 4, and I'll show you that in a moment. And as well as, look at this, a little lanyard, so, you know, to personalize a little bit and show off that you're indeed an ROG member. That's right. This is a premium board, obviously, so you would expect to get at least these accessories, and in some cases even more, depending on which ROG series board you buy. But this is more than enough to get me up and running here on this SFX build. And pause the screen again at any time if you want to take a look at this list. This is the complete accessories list there for you. And moving on, these are the specs. I do like that this has the 8+2 power phase design for the CPU and the memory. Z490 chipset, yes, supporting the latest 10th gen 1200 socket CPU, which I'll be using, and one PCI Express 3.0 X16 slot. Great, I got a graphics card ready for that one. And audio, here are the specs for that 7.1 channel high def audio. And DisplayPort HDMI, you've got your BIOS recovery slots there for your USB as well, and the button, along with your Type A and Type C USB and your gigabit LAN and Wi-Fi 6. So here are all the different things that are appearing at the back and inside, because there's a 40mm VRM fan hidden in that I/O shield, that pre-built I/O plate, basically, that you don't have to worry about installing. Really saves a lot of hassle, and it's almost plays, you know, as a cooling part at the same time. So it's great. I love that silver and black design to it. Very nice, high premium look and feel. Here's a look at all the connectors again along the side, so you get a good feel for that, including the daughter board there you can see at the top. We'll open that up and I'll show you the inside in a second, along with the PCI Express slot. Nuvoton, yes, there's a chip there on the left. That's the I/O controller that they're using. And 64 gigs of memory you can put in those two slots, maximum between the two. You can see the nice heat sink at the back there with the U shape going around. Yes, it is connected with a heat pipe into the VRM at the back. And you can also see here, there's the headers for your RGB and also your CPU liquid cooler. The ATX power supply, 12-volt 8-pin, you can see right there. It's reinforced with a nice little shield. And those golden premium Japanese capacitors are all lined up very nicely. Here, again, are all the I/O ports on that board, again, so you can get a good idea. I do love the fact that they added two M.2 sockets, not just one, but two. Amazing. So we can really pack things in. Very ingenious design on that, almost like a riser daughter board installation there. You can see how it says M.2_1 socket. So there's one socket at the top and one socket underneath. You just take out this cover. Okay, that which actually lights up as well. That is an RGB lighted cover. And obviously it shows us all the capacitors, as you can see there, for the audio and the M.2 slot. In there, I'll be putting the SK Hynix Gold P31 1TB NVMe SSD and pack it in there very nicely. Of course, you could take this whole thing apart and get to the second M.2 slot, but I won't be using that, but that's how you would do it essentially. And, well, I'll be getting this up and running here, and you know, you can see there at the top on the I/O plate, underneath that hidden is that 40mm VRM fan. Now, I'll be using the Intel 10600KF Intel Core i5, and I will be overclocking it along with these other components. Great EVGA RTX 3060 Ti XC GPU, which definitely makes a huge difference. The SK Hynix NVMe SSD, which I reviewed not too long ago, super fast. If you haven't seen that review, I'll add the links below for all of these. The UEFI BIOS, I love it. I tell you, the advanced mode gives you full control to tweak things. It is, like they say, a tweaker's dream to go in here and manually set things up. Of course, if you're not sure what you're doing, leave it all on auto, right? Because that's really where it's at, right? So what can I say? I mean, I've gone in and overclocked this, and I'll show you what I used. Not everyone is going to be able to overclock their CPUs the same, obviously, so beware on that one. But just to give you an idea, a sense of all the different options and what is available for you to tweak from voltage, wattage, amps, and extending and unlocking the potential, this board allows you to do that, right? And that's one of the reasons why you buy a premium ROG Strix type of board like this from ASUS, to be able to configure that, right? So when it comes to monitoring, I love the fact that I can, quickly change the behaviors of the fan through the software in Windows 10, or through here I can set up profiles as well. So I'm going to be doing that just to quickly show you that as well. But I got to tell you, the temperatures are awesome. Around 30 degrees Celsius, the CPU on idle, okay? And that's not necessarily at defaults. At defaults, it's even less. But using the QFan configuration and the AI control that it has for the cooling, it basically monitors the behavior, the usage of the system, and sets things up for you. You can do it that way. Same thing for your overclocking. But I do like to tweak things. You could optimize all and let it just do its thing, or you can go in and manually select the thresholds and set things up and then create a profile for it if you want. Obviously, the pump, I want to have that running 100% all the time. So you can do that as well. And you can save things and your own profile in here as well. So that way you can always come back and load it if you have to. So, all the options are here, like I said. In the advanced mode, more than ever, you get to see how much ASUS spends on making sure that you have all that you need. Now, when it comes to overclocking, I put the XMP2 profile there for the AI overclock tuner. You can see also the memory. I put it to 3400 megahertz from 32. And the all-core ratio, I put it to 51 sync all cores. What else? I put the load line calibration to 4. I left pretty much everything on default except for maybe the CPU power phase control. I put that on extreme. Min and max CPU cache ratio, put it to 45. And enable the adaptive mode there for the cache voltage. The offset, want a little bit of an offset at 1.45 volts for the CPU core. And a little tweaking on the other voltages. I mean, it varies, right? I can't tell you for sure that you're the one that has the same board, same CPU. It's going to work exactly the same. No, I can't tell you that. But that's what I used. Now here we have it. The board is running beautifully, keeping things cool in this system. Of course, I have other components, and around 30 degrees Celsius, you can see that it's running on idle as I record this screen. So if I didn't do anything, it would be even less. If I do further tweaking, well, and I don't want to go into the UEFI BIOS, well, you can use the software. Of course, that's why ASUS provides you the software to be able to go in and do some tweaking from here. Not necessarily every single setting can be accessed here through the software, but the majority of it can be done. That, the most important options, whether you want to turn them on or off quickly in case you're doing some testing or tweaking back and forth. Or maybe you just want to create a fan profile for the system and quickly access that fan profile and maybe change it from extreme to standard or silent or whatever. So you can quickly save profiles in here and set those up. Now, if it does go to 100% load, I did notice that system will go to about 78 degrees Celsius on that CPU. Okay, maybe 80 degrees Celsius. So that's not bad. Not bad at all, as you can see right there. So I'm very happy to report here that the overclock to 5.1 gigahertz was definitely worth it in my case. You can see how it beat all of these other CPUs at their default megahertz, of course. None of these necessarily were overclocked, but it shows you how overclocking takes you a long way here, as long as you have the right cooling to make sure that it doesn't overheat, right? So on Geekbench 5, you can see there the single core and the multi-core scores. Again, mine surpasses other CPUs at their default gigahertz And that's expected in some cases as well. But wow, at least I don't have to spend money on an Intel Core i7 or an Intel Core i9. I just get an Intel Core i5 10600KF, overclock it a little bit, and away you go, right? I mean, here we have PC Mark 10. You can see the results that I got there on this system. It surpassed a premium gaming PC from 2020, which was an AMD Ryzen 9 3950X using two 2080s and SLI. So wow, can't believe it. And you can see the ADA64 CPU Queen results and other results, again, all related to CPU, memory, cache, all of those working together to get to these results. And this is, again, a 6-core, 12-thread processor. Remember that. So when you compare it, we're trying to compare it to other comparable type of CPUs. And if it beats an 8-core, great. Even better, right? That's what you want to see. Now, I also have to say that when it comes to calculations like SuperPi here, I did various different types of calculations. 6 minutes, 49 seconds, well, 6 minutes, 50 seconds, I guess, for the 32 million calculation there that it did. And, well, again, beating a lot of these, right? The smaller scores, the better. So mine was 6 minutes and 49. Wow. Unbelievable how mine beat all of these. Of course, these might not have been overclocked, but mine is. Again, that's the bonus. I can overclock it. Why? Because I have this board. This board allows me to do that, along with all the cooling. How much does this board cost? Well, dealers may sell for less. $259.99 on Newegg.com as of late March 2021. Up next, I'm going to put the EVGA RTX 3060 Ti to the test. That's right, in this system, along with all of these other components, we're going to have a gaming benchmark review, and you're going to see the full power of the ROG Strix along with the EVGA 3060 Ti. Comment below. Let me know what you think. If you haven't seen my first video on the Cooler Master parts, I'll add the link below. And thank you for watching.